Hooray! Second try worked. Ooh. To all this technology. The apparently somebody, President Macron of France, to resign. I haven't read the details because I'm not sure that it's true, but it might be. Hi, Howard, in the chat. Jeez. Hi, oops. Let's put the cursor in the box. Oh, Witta is here. Mm-hmm. There we go. Oh. Once again, there are no red splotches on my face. It's something to do with the camera and the lighting. And I still don't wear makeup, except at weddings and funerals. Granny always said, if you paint your face when you're young, you'll have to paint your face when you're old. Well, I might be gray. I wish my hair really looked like what the camera shows. It's more of a dirty dishwater mixture of brown and yellow. Silver hair. That I would. Oh well, looks better on camera than in person in mind. I wonder. There's something. Farmers in the Netherlands and are rising up against the crazy restrictions EU food production. You get the feeling that they want to starve. And really bad for decades now. They deprive the farmer of water to save some fish that's actually an invasive species ought to be exterminating. Those little delta smelt are about the size of a sardine or smaller, and they are endangering the native trout and salmon. To save the delta smelt, water in Northern California flow into the aqueduct to water the farms. And actually, the farmers traditionally have been on well water. They have wells dug to get the underground aquifers. Well, the rise of so many cities has pretty much drained those aquifers. It isn't the farmers who depleted the water supply, it's the cities. Flood control. The third washes out because the water rises so high and rushes so fast. And they just rebuild the bridge. Didn't occur to them they might do some water management. Flood the whole county every couple years. They get disaster relief money when their bridge washes out. In mine, it comes out of our pockets. The government doesn't have any money. It's our money. It's your money. But I fix whoever sits in the I don't know, where do they sit? Where does the of France live? I have no clue. What's his name in Canada? Trudeau. Who sits in the. What matters is what as a is doing, not who they are, not what they said when they were campaigning, doing now. And even though I have about Trump, he did some good. I'm just worried about his potential dictator. Of course, I kind of think now that was our concern with Kennedy in the 60s. He kept issuing executive orders. There's a danger with that sort of thing. Original was for things like China and nukes for the White House. It was not meant to make law. Tora. She knows she has me tracked. Don't you? Say hi to your adoring face. Are you looking for treats? Isn't she a cutie? She's really a great hunter. She brought me another yesterday, and it was not dead. It's hiding in the bathroom. I don't know whether I can rescue it. Let's get Tora's treats. Here you go. There's my pretty kitty. Oh, yeah. Last week she brought me a mouse, also not dead. Probably a roo rat, but they're little tiny size of a mouse. Tora will not. I have a sticking up. I hate it when that happens. What was I saying? We have a couple cans of knives, cat food, the wet food. Tora and Sweetie will not eat it. I had cats that would eat 9 lives. They were starving. So today I'll have to go get them something they will eat, like Friskies or Fancy Feast or even the store brand. They do know that Friskies isn't as good as Fancy Feast, even though made by the same company. Oh, Tora's going out to find me another lizard, aren't you? They love people tuna, orchid, bumblebee, of the sea, but of course it isn't exactly nutrition balanced. I like tuna fish. Ask me how before she digs her head into the can. She'll do the cutest thing. She'll take a paw and pick up tuna fish and then lick it off her paw. Cute kitties. What else is going on? We've got all kinds of pro demonstrations going on all over the world. Even Sri Lanka, the that used to be called on. I have cowlicks where that one, yeah, that's on my head. Why can't I make it lie down? Feel like Dennis the Man. The world is not going to end just yet. It's, of course, a lot of up over Roe v. Wade and gun control and Prime Minister Abe Japan's prime minister was shot apparently with a homemade gun. In Japan, it's really impossible to get a gun. I'm not sure whether their police have guns. So this nutcase built a homemade gun that fell apart after 2 shots. Abe is dead. He's no longer prime minister, but he still had a lot of influence. And it's always sad when anybody dies. But he was an icon. Japan's prosperity and order. And I just Japanese prime minister. He isn't Japanese, he is Japanese. But every news outlet I've listened to, mostly on YouTube, has said former Japanese prime minister. No, former prime, he's still Japanese. Or as I like to say, Japan former prime minister. He had the same reputation in Japan as Churchill did in England. And speaking of the Red Square Forum, I don't do much there, but sometimes there's an interesting article. They said that Winston Churchill was offered a title of nobility twice. He turned them down because his son was in the House of Commons. And if his father took a title, he would automatically be out of Commons. He could run for the House of Lords. I don't know how they're selected. But as it turned out, his son lost the next election, and his grandson never really got into politics. Seems to Hollywood, it's been a common practice to offer a knighthood to an actor, like written, and I can't think of the others. I should know all those names. They aren't coming to me. So maybe a title of nobility doesn't mean that much today. Oh, and I learned what a baronet is. Heard it, some YouTube channel. Oh no, it was been an Eve of Poirot. No, I think actual English history or something. A baronet? Yeah, a little baron? Well, not exactly. A baronet, a knighthood that's hereditary. In other words, if you're a knight, your son is not automatically, but if you're a baronet, it's a type of knight your son inherits. Very high ranking, it's the lowest of the nobility. I read when my chap's so quiet. Apparently, though, the European Union is falling apart from within. Farmers in the Netherlands are blocking roads and carrying and marching. Farmers in Poland are doing the same. And of course, you don't hear much about it, but in France, the so-called yellow shirts are still holding protests. Where did I used to hear this? have rules, law and order, peace. Oh, stinking. Lost the connection for a minute. But if being plunged into poverty through no fault of their own, while they watch all these heads of corporations living, I thought fatal typos. John D. Rockefeller. I couldn't read Rockefeller. He was considered the wealthiest. He knew that he would hold churches, hold gatherings, and give to candy. Cents. A dime is 10 cents. And 10-cent piece. Suppose you could open a hair on my sleeve. But it was the optics. He knew that people would hate him just because he was rich. Hi, V-Ken. I'm only 20 minutes in. Let's see. Give, but not a whole lot of money. And since he nowadays paid some bills, wages have gone up about what you pay for things. And there's all these shortages. Buying power. Complain to the PayPal or GoFundMe. Choice. People are, or they find it easy to buy me a coffee. It's for I think I'm back. Apparently, just monitor my video in case I say something they don't like. And I mentioned the orange man. Have you noticed that when he doesn't look orange in the camera of things? White man. John Kennedy, he became youngest ever. We'll probably have a candidate in a couple who just barely. According to the Constitution, you have to be at least the didn't want some young whip things up. France resigns. Canada, and if Trudeau they resigned too. Yeah, my parents thought Kennedy was a communist, but by standards, he'd be a road-leaning conservative. If you go by his speeches, he was a patriot. There's the Reggie that at least one of the reasons for assassination was that he wanted to share information about the Soviet Union. What is it with secrecy? That's something that anybody of the UFOs can be explained, that they're terrestrial, human technology. But all it takes is one extraterrestrial. Some people think that change mutually in interstellar spacecraft. It is weird. Astronomers agree that it must have come from outside this solar. I think they said it was leaving the solar system, not hanging. UFO sightings are just ho-hum. I'm not impressed by the video. And what do they call objects? Things going into the water. Cases, the water, it just went over the horizon because the Earth is round. There, it looks to it, you would see. Yeah, looks like a short. Constant is unstable. Real UFO. Not yet. Back dreamed it. And smart brother remembered it too. Serendipitously, by chance, I came across a website book called UFOs Over California, and it had a picture of a different article about skies over California, seen by thousands of people. Some were globe, etc. Globe. But nobody knows what they were. Newspapers and everything, but I guess book didn't consider investigation. When that globe was coming down into our backyard, the house my brother and I were in, out. And when we came back inside, she was angry that we were second. She sent us to bed early. Oh, geez, horrible. Well, anyway, me crazy, so I think I'll cut it short here. You guys, maybe the replay will. It's time to the real world. Oh, here we go. Catch later. Maybe I'll do an unboxing and upload. all of you, be good, be well, and be happy.